There is no question that if we encounter 18,000 people in a single day, that will seriously strain our capabilities.
Really? Boy, there's an insight for you. Well, the question is what Republicans going to do about it. Here to tell us, Senator Cynthia Lummis, member of Environment and Public Works, et cetera, from the great state of Wyoming. Senator, welcome to the show. Somebody said this is the first time on the show. That's not possible, is it? You've been on radio.
Yeah, you and I've had several really nice visits, Larry. It's wonderful to be back.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it very much. Mitch McConnell says Republicans will block COVID aid unless it prohibits Biden from repealing Title 42. And, Senator, I just want to ask you, I was told today, I didn't actually know this, Senator Haggerty has an idea that would link fentanyl with Title 42. In other words, change the rationale from COVID, which should be essentially over if they're honest, to a fentanyl problem. What you think of that? What can you tell us about this new idea?
I think it's a great idea. The facts are that as these 200,000 plus migrants are coming across the border every month and more every single month, they are bringing with them fentanyl, enough to kill massive numbers of Americans, and certainly enough to sicken and addict a number of Americans in states that are really hurting in terms of the growth in fentanyl use, abuse, and deaths. So I think Senator Haggerty is onto something that's very serious, legitimate, and quantifiable, and I hope he pursues it with vigor.
Can you get a vote? Is he putting together a bill, an amendment, any legislative process you can help him with? Because I think it's a fabulous idea. I really do.
Yeah, I agree. And the fact that so many Democrats have voiced concern about having Title 42 repealed and creating a flood of additional immigrants coming across the border that we can't possibly catch, that we can't possibly interdict, increases the chance that more fentanyl will be coming across the border illegally and spread throughout the United States immediately as soon as Title 42 is gone. So I'm delighted that Senator Haggerty has come up with this idea, and I look forward to supporting it. And I think you'll find some Democrats that will support it as well.
What you think about Mayorkas saying in the testimony today that 18,000 coming across the border illegally would pose a problem? You think that's a Nobel Prize-winning statement?
Well, it's certainly the truth. It's an understatement. I think now they've got about 8,000 coming across the border a day, so that's obviously more than double, and they can't deal with the numbers they're dealing with now, let alone those massive increases in numbers. And of course, we telegraph this stuff to the criminal elements in Mexico that are encouraging people to pay them to come across the border. It encourages those who are trafficking humans, trafficking drugs, and trafficking problems, including health problems, to the United States. So this is a very, very serious issue. Sounding the alarm is something that Republicans have to do because Democrats, unfortunately, are underplaying it because the agenda of their party is an open border policy. They simply don't believe in vetting these people.
Yeah. Mayorkas is no genius. What's wrong with just build the wall, remain in Mexico? I mean, this guy, I don't know why he hadn't been fired. You ought to impeach him. Anyway, last one for you, ma'am. This so-called China compete bill. Now, I got to tell you, this, whatever, $250 billion, $50 billion to bail out Intel. There's $200 billion of private investment money already being put into the chip sector, and there's so much nonsense and Green New Deal. This is a boondoggle. We should be cutting spending, Senator, not raising spending, and some Republicans actually signed on to this. It's kind of driving me crazy.
Well, it is more spending on climate than can possibly address climate in a meaningful or responsible way. One of the problems we're encountering here in Congress is that the response to climate change is to throw money at it in indiscriminate, poorly vetted ways. And then it's sprinkled throughout the budgets. It's in places you'd never know to look for it. And it is being wasted, Larry, completely wasted on things that will not move the needle on climate change. So this is a program that needs a complete overhaul. There needs to be targeting on actual innovation that will move the needle, and this will not.
Well, okay, but I don't know why we have to have corporate welfare, industrial policy, picking winners and losers, $250 billion. Actually, the House version is $350 billion. I mean, I think it's an outrage. We're just like, this is big government socialism. This is state control like China. This is like we're trying to out-China China. And I just think it's a terrible idea.
Yeah, Larry, I wish you were back in the administration. You'd be the voice of reason in a sea of unreasonableness.
Well, I appreciate that very much, but I think this bill should be stopped. It's going to come out of conference. God knows what that's going to look like. I mean, I think it should be stopped. It's gotten a free ride, and it should be stopped.
Yeah, there will be motions. They're called motions to instruct, which is basically a motions on ways to amend it. I'm not sure this bill can be amended in a way that will make it worth passing.
Oh, well, good. Then don't pass it. Heck yeah, don't pass it. Republicans, I don't have to tell you this. I know you're against the bill. Republicans should be against spending and against deficit spending and against money printing and against inflation. You know, cut taxes and deregulate, and we'll whoop China. We had them on the ropes. I mean, this other... I'm sorry. I don't mean... I'm not picking on you. I'm so happy you come on our show. I'm just saying some of this stuff drives me a little bit crazy. Anyway, Senator Cynthia Lummis, thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it very much. Hope you come back soon.
Thank you, Larry.